To clean out the black tank as well as hook up the barbecue on the back of the trailer here, as well as put down the jacks. So there's 4 jacks, one at the front on the driver's side, another one at the front on the passenger side, and then 2 on the back on the driver's side and passenger side. So in this 4-inch square tube here is where we put the clean out hose for the black and gray tanks. When we're cleaning out these tanks on the trailer, we always make sure that we dump the black tank before we dump the gray tank itself, just so that anything that is coming through the black tank gets flushed out by the gray water, which is not quite as dirty. So we're going to pull this hose out here. It's about 8 feet, I believe. And we take it over to the back of the trailer here, and there's some tabs on this hose here, so when you actually put it on the trailer, it will actually lock in place on that 3-inch or 4-inch pipe, whatever size of pipe that is. And we're just going to pop it on there and just twist, give it a good twist, and once that's on there, you're ready to start emptying the tanks out. On the right side of this, there is going to be a knife valve here, that or a scissor valve, whatever you want to call it, to open the black tank. And then on the left side, there is going to be a valve for opening up the gray tank itself. So first of all, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull this valve once you've got the hose all connected, especially at your dump site, and that will open up your black valve and it will empty that tank for you. Once there's nothing coming out of that tank anymore, you close that valve off and then you open up the gray tank valve. The reason you close that valve off first is because if there's a plug in the line, what could happen is you could start mixing the black and gray tanks together, which isn't a major problem, but it's easier just to close the black tank off before you open the gray tank. And then once you've done finished emptying the gray tank, just close that off and you are done. And then what you'll want to do is you'll want to take this hose off, and at most dump sites you will have a hose somewhere around you, and you'll be able to stick a hose in there which is going to be labeled not potable water, so it will be water that is not for human consumption or drinking. But you'll just want to spray out that hose pretty good, and you'll want to dump the remainder of the water down the pipe, and then you just take this hose and you stick it back in the back of the trailer here. It does fit, and you just keep stuffing it in there until it disappears. We have lost the caps for the bumper here, so what I usually do is I will put a strap on the back here, just so that if that hose does try to escape out of there, it's not going to be able to, just because that strap is going to be preventing it, because it's such a tight fit in there anyways. Once I'm all done with everything, I will usually just put my gloves back in this compartment. Actually, one thing I forgot about, so this is a 90-degree elbow, so you can actually put that on the, it would actually go this way. This would actually go on the end of the hose itself, and this would actually sit down in the clean out for your septic system or wherever you're dumping. And there you can see what is going down through the into the septic tank that you're dumping into. So that helps a little bit as well for dumping purposes, and you don't have to worry about sticking your hose down the pipe and possibly getting black goo all over your hands, I guess I could say it for a better word. So that is how you clean out the tanks itself. As far as putting down the jacks themselves, I've got these little rubber pads here that we've purchased, and what I usually do, I use these for leveling out the trailer. Just because there's such small feet on this trailer, I like to use something underneath of them, just so that you have a little bit more surface area or a harder pad to put the jacks down on. But I will put that underneath the jack about there, And I have a bar up front in the front compartment of the trailer. This one's locked. So you take this bar here. We'll just start cranking this jack down until it sits on the pad itself. There is a level at the very front of the trailer also, if you want to level the trailer out, which I suggest that you do when you bring it to a park or you are stopped for a long period of time. But the jacks, what they provide, not only is leveling of the trailer, but just a little bit more stability inside the trailer, so it's not quite as bouncy, because when you're just on top of the tires, you've got the entire bounce of the suspension working against you when you're walking through the trailer. So I'll just start cranking that down, and you can see that the trailer will move quite easily up and down on that. When you are done with the trailer, I suggest, well, you have to, but you should crank these jacks up before you leave your site at any point in time, because it will not take long for them to get catched on something on the road, get caught on something on the road and break right off. So I'll just crank that back up and I'll put that pad away. But there's levels up front where you can level out the trailer itself, and then these pads just go in the front and the rear. So I put 2 in the rear and 2 in the front, just so that I don't have to walk around too much around the trailer to locate those pads for setting down the jacks. Also in this compartment there is a electrical cord. I think it's 75 feet or 50 feet, something like that. And then there also is a step down from 30 amps to 15 amps if you are not at a trailer site that provides you with 30 amp power, which most of them do. But if you are not at one, then you can use that extension cord and that step down there to change your power out down to 15 amp. When you're running off 15 amp in the trailer itself, you want to make sure that you don't run too many appliances at once, because you're just going to run into blowing the breaker on the trailer. And from there you'll just have to go reset it outside on the panel itself. But 15 amp does not provide you a ton of power to run your AC, your microwave, TVs, stereos, lights, all that stuff all at the same time. You will see that things start blowing out. And then finally, we've got this little barbecue here that we set on the back of the trailer. I might be parked a little bit too close to my fence, but let me take a look. So I'm going to take this around here. I'll try opening this thing up so that we can put the barbecue on. So we just take this one pin out and we slide the entire barbecue away from the trailer. Let's put this back in here just so I don't lose it myself. And I will set the barbecue on top of these 2 pegs here, just like that. Then I'll open the barbecue up, and inside the barbecue I will find both of my hoses to connect up to propane. There is a propane line right at the back of the trailer here that you can connect up to the tank sitting at the front. So you can cook at the back of the trailer. Included that we left a lighter and a barbecue brush to scrub the barbecue off to clean it up. So to connect this guy here, we'll just go underneath the bumper here, and this just works like a air tool itself, where it's just a quick connect into a socket, and same thing goes for the barbecue. Once you've got it connected, you can open the valve, and you will have propane running to the back, and you will be ready to barbecue. Based on that, the propane tanks are open up front too. So Let's just open this up. So it's just a little cap for the propane. I'll push that in just like any air tool. Oh, here's my hand. There we go. And it locks in. So that's in now. So you push in, you push the hose in, and you let it come back, or you might just have to pull back a little bit every once in a while. It gums up, so you just have to pull on it a little bit. And then once it's in there and you've got it connected to your barbecue, which I'll do first before I open that up, which is right here. There we go. Now we're connected to the barbecue. And we just reach under here and we open this valve, and this is the valve right there, that little metal piece. We open that and we've got propane running to the back, and we're ready to barbecue at this point. So then finally we've got our slide out, which we'll do in just a second. So you could stop.